Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw.
Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Brews. I am your host, Commander Claw, and I am ecstatic to bring you Gladiolus Amicitia, a Gruul Commander that you guys, I think you will be underestimating how convenient his ability really is. Um, First of all, it's Gruul. I enjoy playing Gruul commanders. It's big, stompy, fast, haste, give creatures trample, give creatures double strike, and swing out and attack your opponents. If they have an answer, okay, go back at it again. If they don't have an answer, goodbye. That's how I like to play a lot of the times. Um, but this is a lands matters commander and a landfall commander. I think he's super. I just think he's the definition of Gruul. Big, bad, stompy, fast. Let's get into his abilities. A 4 red and a green commander. He's got a 6/6 body, legendary human warrior. When Gladiolus Amicitia enters, search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Cool. We get the mana ramp when he enters the battlefield. Then you have Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, another target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Wow. What do we need to know about this? First of all, we're ramping. When he comes into play for 6 mana, you get an additional land, which will trigger his landfall trigger. That's awesome. Okay. Then his landfall trigger is convenient because it says another target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample. So in my mind, I'm already putting in other big bad creatures that have haste, and I'm holding my land in my hand and playing it after I play the big bad creature. Then when I go to combat, before I go to combat, I'll drop the land and say like, hey, my creature with haste gets +2/+2 and trample. So what I like about this commander, not only you can slap a bunch of lands onto the battlefield through mana ramp shenanigans, tutoring land shenanigans, but you get to hold a land in your hand and decide when you want to give another creature +2/+2 and trample. That is nasty. Moving on to more cards that ramp you up, but you can do some more manipulating like I just described. Okay, we got Zell Dincht here for 2 and a red, 0/3 body, legendary human monk. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. We like that. When you go on EDH Rec, you're going to see a bunch of recommendation for cards for Gladius that say you can play extra lands. Whoop-de-doo. But you need to add Zell. Okay, Zell. How do you say it? Zell like sending me money. Anyway, Zell Dinch gets +1/+0 for each land you control. Okay. At the beginning of your end step, return a land you control to its owner's hand. That is, there's only two things I really like about this guy. You play an additional land per turn, and you return a land back to your hand or back to the owner's hand. So, in my opinion, when you have Gladiolus on the battlefield and Zell, you get to put the land into play and get +2/+2 and trample for another creature and bounce it back. So you're always able to get that triggered ability. And you get to put more lands into play. So it's really like the land per turn, the additional land, bounce one land back, save it again, and you just repeat the same literally each +4/+4 if you have a land drop for a turn. Cool. Okay, we got the traveling chocobo for 2 and a green, 3/2 body. It is a bird. It says you may look at the top card of your library anytime. We like that. We like that. Okay. Then it says you may play lands and cast bird spells from the top of your library. We like that too. We want to play lands from the top of our library, right? Being able to see the top of your library is almost like having an extra card in hand. Almost. And being able to play that card makes it nasty. Um, if a land or bird you control entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So that landfall trigger for Gladiolus would trigger an additional time if Traveling Chocobo is on the battlefield. Cool. Moving on. So I had to include Intish Restoration. I think a lot of players see this on EDH Rec and they kind of know it, but the reason why I want to highlight it is there's a thing where I think it's called Ferocious, where you have synergies with creatures that have power 4 or greater. And this is that. So Intish Restoration for 2 and a green is an instant. It says sacrifice a land, search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, instead search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped. This is also like a hero. And what makes this card really good is that instant speed. So if you happen to be on defense and you need to make your creature stronger and be a stronger blocker, and you have your landfall trigger with Gladiolus out, hey, you can give them what, +6/+6 and trample 3 times? Pretty nasty. Okay, so in the Final Fantasy world, they got all these saga summons, and they are ridiculous. Summon Titan for 3 and 2 green. Okay, as the saga enters and after your draw step, add a door counter, sacrifice it after 3. Chapter 1, mill 5 cards. Green does self milling, okay? Chapter 2, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. We like that with Gladiolus, all right? That gives us whatever amount of landfall triggers for the lands that are coming in. You just need to have the creatures for it. Uh, Chapter 3, until end of turn, another target creature you control gains trample and gets +X/+X, where X is the number of lands you control. Okay. Also, Summon Titan is an enchantment creature, Saga Giant. It has reach, trample, and is a 7/7. Mm, yes. So a 7/7 that is on chapter 3 um, can give another creature +X/+X, where X is the number of lands you control. I mean, what do we got to say? This is a big green stompy body. Moving on. So, if you're ever watching my videos, I'm always going to suggest an older card to convince you to add or brew with. I know there's cards out there that are better effectively and efficiently, yada, yada, yada. This doesn't work. But there are times in your deck, the way you build it, that you might need to change it up, or you might need to put out creatures in a better way. So Avatar of Fury is an old classic card. Shout out to all you old heads who know this card. Avatar of Woe, Avatar of Fury. I forgot that. Avatar of Blight, whatever. For 6 and 2 red, a 6/6 body avatar. It says, if an opponent controls 7 or more lands, Avatar of Fury costs 6 colorless less to cast. Yes, so that means you could pay 2 red to get a flyer that's 6/6 and it has fire breathing. You tap a red mana, Avatar Fury gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Gross. So if you have Gladiolus on the battlefield and you meet the criteria, or your opponent meets the criteria, you can drop Avatar Fury for 2 red mana. Okay. Then, remember, hold that mana in your hand, drop it on to Avatar Fury. You get +2/+2 and trample. And all you need is haste, and you got an 8/8 flyer coming at an opponent. Doing damage. Nobody wants to see that. Moving on. This is another Gruul card that is one of my favorite pet cards. It just does so much and is already forgotten about. It's from the Thunder Junction set. Like, it's forgotten about. I'm telling you. Cactus Folk Sure Shot for 2 red and a green, 4/4 body. Creature Plant Mercenary. It has reach. Then it has Ward 2. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays 2. Then it says at the beginning of combat on your turn, other creatures you control with power 4 or greater gain trample and haste until end of turn. So all you got to do is on your main phase, put down creatures that you want to attack with, and make sure Cactus Foot Sure Shot is on the battlefield. And guess what? If it's power 4 or greater, it's got trample and haste. Easy as that. This is what Gruul does. Moving on. Hey, thank y'all for watching this video on Gladiolus something. Yeah, I can't even pronounce the last name. Hooked on Phonics did work for me, but you know, not enough coffee yet. But anyways, it's an awesome commander. Gruul does what Gruul best. He actually probably works in the 99 of other Gruul commanders, but he's still a big 6/6 body. Hey, thank y'all for watching the video. Like, comment, and subscribe.